are keeping an eye on tonight is whether or not the governor's race has an effect on what the ultimate numbers there look like in the presidential race. Obviously, the Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson, who is a Republican gubernatorial candidate, has faced a scandal after CNN reported on his past comments. That is something they will be watching closely tonight, as Josh Stein, the Democrat, is expected to do well. We'll see what the ultimate race looks like there. And Jake, I should note, as they are keeping a close eye on these early gut checks, hopefully they believe in Georgia and North Carolina, Donald Trump is also still making calls to get voters out in Pennsylvania tonight. I was told that he was just on the phone calling into radio stations inside Pennsylvania, urging people to get out and make sure they get to the polls and vote. And Jake.com says some of his top surrogates are also posting online, urging people to get out and vote. Stephen Miller himself urging men to get out and vote. Jake.
All right, Kevin Collins in West Palm Beach with the Trump headquarters. David Shallian has some exit polls coming in from North Carolina now. David, what issues seem to be driving voters in the Tar Heel state?
Yeah, Jake, let me just explain to you that first we're going to look at how people feel about the way things are going in the U.S., in North Carolina, what North Carolina would be saying. 6% enthusiastic, 21% satisfied. The plurality, 43% of North Carolina voters tell us they are dissatisfied with the way things are going in the U.S., 27% angry. I just want to say those bottom two, 7% voters that are dissatisfied or angry, obviously, in the Trump campaign, you think there's a lot of opportunity there for you. But the Harris campaign sees opportunity there too. They want to get at least a chunk of those dissatisfied and angry voters who are dissatisfied and angry with Trump's dominance in our politics. So that will be something to watch later in the evening. We also are looking here at the most important issue. Economy actually ranks top, not like it is nationally, but like we saw in Georgia, that would tick down from that 36%. Say the economy is the most important issue in North Carolina. Democracy is right up there, taking 32%. Well down then is abortion and immigration in the teens. We also asked about hurricane aid here. Is federal hurricane aid getting to the people who need it? You see it's roughly split here with 49% say yes, federal hurricane aid getting to where it needs to go. 46% say no. And then Joe Biden's approval rating is 1 point higher here in North Carolina than it is in Georgia or nationally. 42% approve, 56% disapprove. Again, the Harris campaign would like to make sure they get some of those Biden disapprovers into their fold, but that kind of approval on Biden is what is giving the Trump campaign hope in a place like North Carolina.
Interesting. All right, Dave, thanks so much. And let's talk about this again. I mean, again, it's headwinds for Kamala Harris here in these exit polls. First of all, 70% of North Carolinians at Tar Heels are either dissatisfied or angry with the state of things. The economy is the number one issue. That's terrain that Trump traditionally polls better. And then a bad approval rating for Joe Biden and her boss.
Yeah, it is true about the 70 or 71% of people who are dissatisfied and angry. But I think, unlike what Chris said before, and it was that means that it's very good sign for not calculating what David and Anderson are not calculating, is that there are a lot of women and men who are dissatisfied with the fact that women don't have the ability to control their reproductive rights in America.
No, look, it's baked in. I mean, the right track, wrong track, we've known for some period of time, and the fact is the race, despite the fact that people are very unhappy for whatever reason with the way the country is going, is still supposedly as tight as can be. So Kamala Harris is clearly going to be able to overcome that. Incidentally, may I just, in the last second, I don't know why the independents are so heavily for Trump in Georgia. Fortunately, we have a very smart Republican pollster listening, and who wrote to me and said, it's the same problem that democracies, incumbents and democracies around the country are facing right now. Around the world, rather. Inflation, they don't like the way things are going, they want somebody to fix it, and that's Donald Trump's basic pitch at the end, which is it's broken, I'm going to fix it.
I don't want to talk about what Hannah said, though, about what people mean when they are dissatisfied. It's the same thing about what they mean by democracy or being independent. It's not entirely clear until we're closer to the final tallies.
No, absolutely. But the battleground states are Aaron Burnett's beats tonight. Aaron?
They are, and of course, we're just moments away from polls closing in a lot of these states in these final crucial minutes, really, in North Carolina, crucial minutes. Brianna, where you are in Charlotte, people still have to vote, and we're starting to see some of these exit polls, concerns about the economy, dissatisfaction that people have. what have voters been telling you?
They've been telling us, Aaron, that everything matters. We're here in Mecklenburg County, which is going to be closely watched. It voted 66% for Joe Biden in 2020, and this is going to be very important to see the result here, to see how Harris performs compared to how Joe Biden did in 2020. I'm joined now by a voter, Brian Flores. You just voted.
I did.
And who did you vote for?
For Harris.
And tell me about how you came to this decision.
So I wasn't going to vote at all until my girlfriend was blowing on my phone telling me to go vote. And if I didn't, she would break up with me. So now I'm here.
That's funny as hell.
It is funny.
But it's funny to say that.
So she asked you to vote for Harris.
She did.
Yeah.
And so
Beta male.
I wasn't going to vote at all.
You were just gonna stay home.
I was
Oh, Lord.
And so you came just before polls closed. But here's the thing, how long did it take? Most people have been saying it's taken them 5 or 10 minutes. Tell us how long it took you to vote.
So I got off of work at 4:30. Drove here about 30 minutes. I think I walked in like at 5 or 5-ish, and I was waiting for about 2 hours. I just walked out.
Brian, 2 hours to fix your address, right?
2 hours.
Brian Flores, thank you so much. Aaron, back to you.
Well, that's devotion. That's devotion. 2 hours to fix the address and just take care of it. I mean, all right, it's not that, those are the stories of Harris.
You know what?
It was him.
That's a vote today that was not going to be there yesterday or the day before, which in a competitive race, it starts with one, and that's how you build. All right, so what do we have so far as we look at the map? Let's come up with the big picture first and show you, sorry, I'm speaking in there. It's early. That's
Indiana,
the big
Kentucky.
headline here. Look at a lot of that grade, we're going from east to west, we have a lot of counts still tonight.
Florida.
We have some interesting things happening. Let's start with Battleground Georgia. The one battleground state where we do have some results right now, and you have a very narrow lead for Donald Trump. Well, that's simple, it gets better than that. Lead for Donald Trump, 54,000 votes now. I say narrow and it grows. That's what happens on live television. See that right there. But this is very, very early in the race. We have 7% estimated reporting. So you're looking at the map, you see the red filling in small rural counties. That is the bedrock of the Donald Trump movement. We went big in rural America. The challenge for Harris is to run it up here. We have nothing from Fulton County. Subject to Black Rock earlier tonight in Gwinnett County. Very early on. We have a little more 1,100 votes there. You add that up. So we have a long way to go. Just for comparison purposes, Joe Biden gets 58. So can the vice president keep it there at 59 as we move through the night? Again, that's an incredible early rationale there. But that's what you're looking at, right? So you're at least matching the coalition. The last guy to win the state, that would be Joe Biden 4 years ago. And if you're not, you're losing in some areas, can you make it up somewhere else? So that's where we look at Georgia right now. All it tells us we have a very competitive race. Virginia used to be a battleground state. It's reliably blue now, but it will give us some pretty important clues tonight. It will. Because if you look through right here, only 2% of the vote in. Again, you see, 45,000 to 43,000. This is a state that's going to be around 4 million votes. Maybe even higher than that by the end of the night. So this is very, very early on with 2% of the vote. But you look at the map and say, are there any surprises here? This would be a surprise. Prince William County, the suburbs, you see, D.C. is right here. Very blue suburbs here. Fairfax County, you go back 20 years, Republican leaning. Now you come out here to Prince William County. Again, it's only 5% of the vote. Trump up by 6 points there. Let's go back and take a peek. This was blue, and it was decidedly blue. So it's very early. That vote total could be one precinct, could be one Republican area. This is the thing we keep an eye on. We mark it early on. Right now, that's where Biden did very well. At the moment, if Trump can improve in the suburbs and the exurbs, that's his path back to the White House. It's early on, but that's the thing you look at as this plays in. What else are we looking for here? This is Chesterfield County. Richmond, Virginia is the capital. Suburbs beneath it to the south, suburbs around it to the north. Only 6% of the vote in. Harris getting 51%. Again, your test is match it up to Biden. He had 52. He wants to stay where his number is. You say, oh, it's a point or so. A point or so can matter. Maybe not in Virginia. He may still win the state. But if she's underperforming Biden in the suburbs, that would be a warning sign. This is way too early. Way too early to say that's the case. I pointed out, so these are the markers we're going to go through as we go through the night, as we look it out. When it comes to Virginia, here's my test here. Again, this is 2%. Those numbers, forget about them. We're going to get a long way to go there. Here's the number you want to look at. This was a 10-point race. 10-point race 4 years ago, right? It was not a 10-point race in 2016, right? It was still blue in both races. That's Obama. Sorry, I went all the way back to Obama there. 2016. On the clock. There we go. There we go. There was a 6-point race there. That matters. That matters. Virginia might still stay blue. The question is Donald Trump tighter in the blue states? Does that mean he'll be better in the battleground states? Jake, that's what you watch. Counties come in, you take a look, you try to learn from lessons.
All right, and we're coming up on another critical round of poll closings in the Harris-Trump presidential race just moments ago. That's when voting ends in the battleground state of North Carolina, as well as in Ohio and West Virginia. A total of 37 electoral votes are up for grabs right now. And CNN can make a projection that Donald Trump will win the state of West Virginia.
West Virginia.
West Virginia and its 4 electoral votes going to Donald Trump. Too early to call. Too early to make a projection in battleground North Carolina with its 16 electoral votes, or in Ohio with its 17 electoral votes. Let's take a look at the electoral map of this hour now that we've called a state for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has 23 electoral votes in the lead of Kamala Harris, who has 3 electoral votes. 270 electoral votes are needed to win the race. Both are far from that. Let's bring you a key race alert now in the battleground state of Georgia. Donald Trump in the lead with 58.1% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 41.4% of the vote. Donald Trump, 69,586 votes ahead. That's with only an estimated 8% of the vote in the state of Georgia. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, Donald Trump in the lead there with 49.6% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 48.8% of the vote. Donald Trump with a 948 vote lead. Only 2% of the vote has come in from the Commonwealth of Virginia. We have 2 more states to show you now. Florida, Donald Trump in the lead there with 53.5% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 45.5% of the vote. Donald Trump with a 586,779 vote lead. That's with most of the vote in, a majority of the vote, 64% of the vote in the state of Florida with its 30 electoral votes. In New Hampshire, Kamala Harris in the lead there with 58.7% of the vote. Donald Trump has 40.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris has a 5,513 vote lead. That's with only an estimated 4% of the vote. John King at the Magic Wall. What are you looking at?
Just wandering through the counties, Jake, where votes come in, especially in the battleground states, just in Georgia right now. As you noted, 69,000, almost a 70,000 vote lead for Donald Trump, but, and it's a very important but, 8% reporting, 8% reporting, a long way to go in the count in Georgia. In fact, you just take a look, 240,000, Donald Trump in the lead right now. Joe Biden had 2.47 million when he won the state 4 years ago. So we have a long way to go in the count of battleground Georgia. But you're just looking for clues and hints to see, is this going to be, every race is different, right? You always compare Trump to Trump 24, to Trump 20, to Trump 16. Can Harris match Biden? Will black turnout rival Obama? These are the questions you have coming into the election, and then you actually get results, and it'll be the Harris coalition versus this year's Trump coalition. And we watch it play out. So one thing you look at, you see Cobb County is red. Well, if that's the case at midnight, from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., that would be a big deal. Let's not overinvest. 277, 186. So if you've got fewer than 500 votes, as you can see, a long way to go in Cobb County. So sometimes you get an early precinct or early batch of votes and it draws your eye. If that stays that way, that would be a big deal. But if you go back to 2020 and look, this is the key to Democratic victory in Georgia, right here, Atlanta and the suburbs. So you come off that, you go back to 2024 and see where we are. Not much of it in yet, right? So let's just take a peek around it and look. Fayette County, more to the south there, 60% for Harris, about 37% of the voting. So they're getting some votes in there pretty quick. A ways to go. But let's just match it up. Harris gets 60%. Let's see how President Biden did there when he had a narrow victory, right? President Biden lost that county at 46%. So that would be, if it stays that way, a net plus for Harris. You're trying to flip counties. Anytime you flip counties, you're helping your map. So let's go back to 2024. Again, let's watch and see if that holds. Let's come back in and come over here, and you come down here to Rockdale County. Again, here's Atlanta, right? So you're moving out. Suburbs into ex-urban areas. Here you've got here 76%. They're counting faster. They say they're at 74%. Sometimes that changes a little bit, but that's what their estimated reporting is. He's at 76%. If you round up, you come back, Joe Biden was at 70%. So if you look at those counties, you're in the Harris headquarters, that's what you're matching up. Are we meeting our targets? Or are we exceeding the Biden coalition? Still some votes to be counted there, but that's an encouraging number for the vice president when you compare it to 2020. So let's come back out and take another look. When you come up here, Victor Blackwell is here, keeping an eye on Gwinnett for us. It is a larger, more populous suburb to the northeast of Atlanta. Again, 15, 20 years ago, it was Republican. Mitt Romney carried this in 2012. The vice president at 57 right now. It's almost more important to look at his numbers sometimes. Can Donald Trump improve his standing in the suburbs? He doesn't have to win. He just has to improve his standing in the suburbs. You can make that a 46. That makes you more competitive. So 43 right now in Gwinnett County 2024. But look at again, 812 votes. Harris is in the lead. By the time we're done, you're going to be in the 200,000, right? So we have a very, very, very long way to go. Trump at 40% there 4 years ago. Trump running 43% right now. But again, gotta look at the early count. We don't even have a percentage there because it's such a small number of votes. But that's what you're doing early on. You're just looking, placing some markers to try to do the comparison as you go back and forth. And Jake, I just want to pull out quickly to the map and look at it here. Everything else is filling in as expected. The question is to look at some lessons. In North Carolina, we do have some first votes in, and it is blue at the moment. 1,820 vote lead. There you go, it just moved again. More votes came in, 8,732 vote lead for the vice president. But again, 17,782 votes. It might change even as I speak. This is to just show you how early we are in the count. It takes 2.7 or more to win North Carolina in a high turnout election. So we're very early in the count, but North Carolina and Georgia, critical battlegrounds. If Donald Trump wins North Carolina and Georgia, the vice president cannot win this race if she loses Pennsylvania. If he takes those two off the board, North Carolina and Georgia, she must win Pennsylvania. So as these counts come in these battleground states, we're starting to get to the point where we can start doing some electoral college chess. North Carolina and Georgia are critical. If Harris loses, then her path becomes incredibly narrow. If she can win one of them, she has more options.
All right, now to Boris Sanchez, who is our first projection of the night in the fight for control of the U.S. Senate. Boris.
Take a major projection to bring you. In their quest to take control of the U.S. Senate, Republicans have their first expected pickup, and it comes from West Virginia. A former two-term governor, Jim Justice, the Republican in this race, is projected to defeat the mayor of Wheeling, West Virginia, Glenn Elliott. Justice, a former Democrat, now expected to take control of the seat held by retiring Democrat turned independent Senator Joe Manchin as he now retires. Kind of gives you an idea of where West Virginia is headed politically, so this is no surprise, but it is significant for the math. Justice, a MAGA acolyte known for taking his 4-year-old English bulldog everywhere with him, it appears that Baby Dog and Justice are now headed to the U.S. Senate. So what does this mean for the magic number? Republicans started out the night needing control of 2 Democratic seats to take the upper chamber. Now that number is down to 1, and they are currently leading in one race where Democrats hold a seat. Let's get you some key race looks now and show you exactly where that is on the map. We start with Ohio, still very early there, but Columbian-born businessman Bernie Moreno is leading Democratic incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown, seeking his 4th term, only by about 16,000 votes. Still very early, though, 3% of the vote in the state of Ohio. If you're a Democrat and you're looking at the map, you're looking for opportunities to pick up a Republican seat. One of their best opportunities in the Sunshine State of Florida. Rick Scott got elected by winning only about a 10,000 vote margin over his previous opponent back in 2018. Right now, he's 715,000 votes ahead of former Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Murgasow Powell. Still a lot of votes to count, but this is with 60% of the vote in the state of Florida. So stepping back, looking at the raw numbers, what does this mean for the balance of power in the U.S. Senate? Democrats hold 28 seats, Republicans 40, with that one important pickup in West Virginia. 32 seats remain up for grabs, Jake. You need 51 to control the chamber.
All right, Boris, thanks so much. Let me bring you a CNN key race alert right now. In North Carolina, Kamala Harris is in the lead with 68% of the vote. Donald Trump has 30.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris has at this hour has a 41,599 vote lead. That's with only an estimated 2% of the vote in from the big battleground of North Carolina with its 16 electoral votes. In battleground Georgia, Donald Trump in the lead with 60.6% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 38.9% of the vote. Donald Trump, as of this hour, with a 109,841 vote lead. That's with an estimated 9% of the vote in from that key battleground state of Georgia and its 16 electoral votes. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, Kamala Harris has 59.7% of the vote. Donald Trump, 38.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris with a 105,065 vote lead. That's with an estimated 11% of the vote in from the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Tá fácil a corrida, irmão. Tá fácil.
We expect more votes to come in from key battlegrounds at any time, and we're going to soon get the first results from the 3rd high-stakes presidential battleground, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Voting ends in the Commonwealth Just a few minutes from now, we're going to talk to you on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Election Night in America is brought to you by Safa. Luxury mattresses made affordable.
If you know luxury, it's not just rewarding, it's rewarding. Safa mattresses supports all types of sleepers. Luxury is handcrafted and assembled in American factories and brought directly to you with our complimentary in-home delivery and setup service. Which is why over 90% of customers would recommend Safa to friends and family. Safa, luxury mattresses made affordable.
As a U.S. Senator, you can enrich yourself in so many different, let's call them legal ways. How does Congress get away with all this? Well, they need because Congress is regulated by Congress!
The Daily Show on Comedy Central and watch next day on Paramount Plus.
This is the Emirates Premium Economy seat. Economy. Perhaps I need to call it something else.
In the furniture business, things move fast. ZipRecruiter helped us hire qualified candidates who can keep up. We needed a project manager yesterday. We posted a job on ZipRecruiter and had our guy on site in 5 days. He was qualified in every way. ZipRecruiter finds the best candidates for all our jobs. They helped us build our dream team, and we did it fast. Is that too fast for you?
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
How many subscriptions do you have? Probably just Netflix and Spotify.
All right, it's saying you have 13 subscriptions, which is costing you around $270 a month.
What?
You can cancel the ones you don't want right through the app, and it can even help you try and get a refund.
Ooh, nasty. Is it bad?
I wouldn't even worry about it because Prize Picks is hooking you up with $50 instantly when you play your first $5 line.
Think I need a second opinion.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You might not ever bother again.
Never.
But on the bright side, Price still got you on that $50.
Download the app and play $5 to get $50 instantly with code TV. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Probably should have told you what real doctors.
After Homogo cleaned our place for $19, we fired our old housekeeper. Homogo tackled everything, from our kitchen to our bathroom, all our laundry. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19.
Experience the CNN Magic Wall. Get live results, expert insights, and immersive election experience. The Magic Wall. Find it in the CNN app today.
It's 7:43 p.m. on the East Coast, and we're heading into one of the busiest hours of this election night. Here's where the race to 270 electoral votes stands right now. Donald Trump has 23 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 3 electoral votes, both of them far from the 270 needed to win. But we have some new results to share. So here's the key race alert. In battleground Georgia, Donald Trump in the lead with 62.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 36.8% of the vote. Donald Trump with a healthy 166,655 vote lead. That's with 13% of the estimated vote in. Still